Hello guys, today I'm going to be talking about dungeons as a Berserker class. Berserker is easily one of the easiest classes early game and for beginners. And with the addition of having much health and having much damage. Um, I'm not going to be covering master modes just yet, but I am going to cover all the way to floor 7. I'm going to talk about the gear, the weapons, the armor, and the pets you should use. And obviously this is just like a rough guide. You can obviously choose what you want, but this is just, in my opinion, what's best for, you know, early game and what's easiest for me and what I find useful. So yeah, let's get into it. Getting into floor 1. The gear is very basic, but first you're gonna need 150 magical power, just to start off with dungeons. Magical power is gonna help your damage, help your health, and help all your stats, and it's very useful. What you're gonna want to have is you're gonna want to have a common griffin with a dwarf turtle shell, right? Um, the like rarity of the pet doesn't matter. Common's the worst, so it can be anything better. It can be the same. You know, it'll help out. Then you're gonna want to get this super cleaver right here. All it takes is a cleaver and an 80k. It's not too expensive. And then you're gonna want to 5-star it over here at the blacksmith. Yeah, you go to essence crafting and you do upgrade items. It shouldn't be too expensive and it'll boost your damage. So it's very worth it. Now this is where you want to get a decent armor set. You want to, if you can, I would recommend getting unstable dragon armor with the fierce reforge. It's around a few million. It is kind of expensive, but it's not too bad. I think each piece is like maybe a mil in itself. Each piece, yeah, it's around 800k, 700k. So it's gonna cost a little bit, but it's worth it. And you're also gonna want to get 250 magical power or higher. And you can keep the same weapons for now. You're not gonna really need an upgrade just yet. Getting into floor 3, you're gonna want to get a hyper cleaver by now. Hyper cleavers are around a couple million coins. See, this one's 1.2 million. You're gonna want to max it out, and you're gonna want to have it at least 5-star. It'll just help in the long run. You're gonna want to make sure you 5-star the cleaver as a super cleaver, and not when you get it as a hyper cleaver. It'll cost more essence, and you don't want to do that. You're also gonna want to have 5-star unstable, fierce unstable dragon armor. You'll need that because you should have the requirements for it by now, and 5-starring it shouldn't be hard since not much else requires dragon essence. You're gonna want to upgrade to a lion pet, either an epic or a legendary. Epic if you don't have the money for a legendary. Legendaries are around 22 million, so it's reasonable, if you don't have that. I think epics are around 4 million. For floor 4, you're gonna want to keep most of the stuff. You're not really gonna need to change much. All you're gonna need to change is your magical power. You're gonna want to have at least 400 magical power, because the more magical power you have, the more damage you're gonna do. I recommend using Silky. And I use Silky in dungeons just for the crit damage, so it'll help. Just make sure your magical power is 400, 450. Anything above that is excellent. Floor 5 is really where it starts to get expensive, because on floor 5 you have things like the Livid Dagger, which you can drop from chests, or you could buy, or you could craft. It costs around 6 mil for a base one, but I recommend getting a pretty expensive one for 15 mil or over, because this did get me through dungeons very well. Getting like Soul Eater 5 on it, stuff like that, it really helps. And then you're gonna want to have Shadow Assassin by now. You're gonna want to get Ancient on the Shadow Assassin armor, because you won't need it maxed out yet. So if you don't have 5-star, it's good. But if you can get 5-star, it'd help a lot. You also want to have a legendary lion pet by now. There should be no reason you don't have one. Just in case like you're dying too much, there's always things like the Yeti pet. I have a Yeti pet right here. It's not good, but I just use it a little bit for dungeons. So yeah, that works, and your magical power should be at least 500 now. 6, this is where things start to get a bit complicated, where surviving is necessary. Other than the mobs in the early game of, pre-boss fight, um, you're gonna need to survive the boss fight. Terracotta phase is very not so much difficult, but it's usually annoying because you do take a lot of damage. So you are gonna want to tank for this floor, which I'm gonna cover tomorrow. But tanks, you usually a party layout, you want like a archer, a mage, 2 berserks, and like a healer and a tank. You know, but for floor 6, you're gonna want at least 550 to 600 magical power, and gear won't change. You just should have it maxed out by now. And then you're gonna want to get a hyper. If you're still using the hyper cleaver, you're gonna want to upgrade to a bouquet of lies, or you can stick with your levitt dagger. Me personally, I stuck with the levitt dagger because I just like being able to physically hit them more. For floor 7, this is where the game it starts mattering how quick you can do secrets, how quick you can do the whole run, and how quick the boss is. Floor 7 has 4 bosses: Maxor phase, Storm phase, Goldor phase, and Necron phase. All of these phases are pretty simple. Goldor phase just needs a bit of parkour. Other than that, it's not too serious. You are going to want a good party because Party Finder is not very good with floor 7 because you need to know what you're doing. But for this floor, you're going to want to upgrade to Necron armor. Now you can use full Necron armor, or you can use 3/4 Necron armor with Maxor boots. Maxor boots for speed. If you need the health, you can go ahead and use full Necron. I use full Necron because I like the damage boost, and it gives me a lot of health also. Now, weapons, you can stick with the Livid Dagger. I currently just use Fabled Shadow Fury and my Juju Shortbow. But if you're willing to spend the money and the grind for the weapon, the Terminator is a very good option. The Terminator is the best weapon in the game right now, and it's just all round very useful in dungeons. I've my friends, few people I know have it. It's very useful. I'd say it's better than the Hyperion and like the Dark Claymore. If for pets, you don't really need it because it is extremely expensive, around 600 mil per. But the Golden Dragon is a very, very expensive pet, but the damage it gives is very good. But this is strictly for master floors. You don't need it for floor 7 at all. And then after that, there's not much, like 700 magical power to 1,000. That's really it for dungeons. When you get into master floors, you're really just gonna wanna get good gear. Like Necron will carry you most of the way, but yeah, it only gets just more complicated from there. But yeah, that's it. If this guide helped you, let me know. I'm gonna be posting a few more guides, preferably tank tomorrow, and then probably mage and then archer. And I don't think I'll do one in healer because there's not much to be talked about. But yeah, thank you guys for watching.